Big Miss Hancock.
Psycho goddess of love, Daphne.
Well, Daphne was out. She got her tonsils taken out.
Yeah, she's out for a week or so.
Yeah, she was recovering from that. So Daphne's not done. I'm sure she'll get back in the picture.
And if you had your choice of saving Daphne or Miss Hancock, who would you go after?
Daphne.
What?
Yeah.
You would take Daphne over Miss Hancock?
Yeah, she's my little psycho goddess of love.
Hey, hold on a second, Jobber.
Jabba, you're a big Miss Hancock fan.
Yes, I am.
And what do you think about this guy saying that Daphne is better than Miss Hancock?
Oh, he's wrong. Definitely wrong. There's no doubt Miss Hancock is much better.
Well, I respect your opinion, but
Hey,
Jabba, he just
what's
said he
up with
respected
that?
your opinion.
And then he said, but.
I told her we appreciate you, waiting weeks to get through, but it was obvious that it was 3-1 here, and we really didn't have a chance to let you get your say.
Nothing against Daphne. She's certainly a very attractive woman in her own right, but Miss
Shawn,
Hancock.
please.
Miss Hancock.
I know, Daphne's too, but
man,
Miss Hancock,
Miss
please.
Hancock's a hottie. Let's
Yes,
just
she
get
is.
it out in the open.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is. Hey, back to the phone lines again. Line 4 from Wright State University. Nick, you've got the wrestling guys.
How's it going?
Good, Nick.
Listen, wanted to start out by saying, I wanted to ask you, I've been reading about Tammy Sitch. What's the deal with the, heard she overdosed on drugs or something in the locker room?
No, she didn't OD.
I read that.
Yeah, basically there was some paraphernalia found in the bathroom, and it was linked to her. She was sent home from Nitro. She, according to Wade Keller, took a drug test last night before Thunder, and again, we haven't heard any results. She has not been fired from the company yet, and we'll just have to sit back and wait.
And what she's been looked at or being accused of doing is a painkiller and really something similar. Right, and it's something that ECW had a problem with, a severe problem with, and some wrestlers did end up losing their jobs with ECW over it here, a year and a half ago maybe?
Yeah, and, in talking to Steven Regal earlier, painkillers is a huge problem in wrestling, and, Tammy is addicted.
Well, I reckon that's all I wanted to know. Just wanted to give a shout-out to my good friend Hillary Haas at Arcanum.
Hillary Haas.
Along with Ty and Brock.
There you
They're
go.
all big fans of the wrestling guys, and they're all huge Kurt Angle fans like me.
Hey, we love
Kurt
Arcanum.
Angle.
It's true.
We love
It's
Arcanum.
true.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Hey,
Later,
man,
guys.
thanks for calling, Nick.
Take care up there in Raiderville. So, and I don't mean to bash Tammy. It sounds like that's what we're doing, but let's face it. I don't if she's in this or not. She's putting herself in these situations, and it just gets old so many
How are we
times.
bashing Tammy? Let's put it on the line. We went to bat for them with WCW Brass. We brought them on our show, no holds barred conversation, so that everybody across the country, not only our local listeners, but internet listeners, could understand that she was behind all this. Everything was behind her.
Let's go back. She had the ECW interview. Everybody forgives her for that. Then she has her problems in ECW, and she's let go from the company. That's when she comes on our show. Everything's clean. We're fine now, blah, 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 blah. Now we have this come up, and you just go, okay, Tammy, realize that you have a serious problem.
And this is, once again, I'm taking a hard line, and they're friends of ours, personal friends. They let me down last week. They didn't make it to the show. I don't know if the reasons that they gave me were actually true. I'm not going to go into them on this show. But the bottom of the line is they let a lot of people down by not appearing once again. Then this, after we went to people through the WCW organization to try to get what I feel still sometime could be premier performers. I've always had a lot of respect for Chris Candido's abilities in the ring, and her abilities with the mic and abilities in the ring. 3 years ago, bar none, she was the #1 woman in wrestling.
Well, not only that, go back a couple more years before that. I would say 5 years ago, when WCW was killing the World Wrestling Federation, Tammy Lynn Sitch, as Sonny, was the #1 attraction in the World Wrestling Federation. Not Steve Austin, not Bret Hart, not Shawn Michaels. Tammy Lynn Sitch, Sonny, was the star for that company. And, drugs or whatever have cost her that spot. And it's really, you don't want this to be a sad story, but you just get so frustrated and tired.
Well, it is a sad story. We're not going into a lot of other things we know
I'm
about.
talking tragic story. I don't want this to be...
there's a lot going on. I wish her the best. I wish Chris the best. Somebody needs to get a handle on what the hell they're doing with their lives.
Absolutely. And, the one thing I've said, you have bad feelings that someday we're going to have to come on here and talk about Jake Roberts and, doing something, horrible. And you get the same feeling that somehow this story with Tammy isn't going to end up much better than that.
Let's get back to the phone lines. They're fired up again. Line 5, the Undertaker guy. You've got the wrestling guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good,
Hey,
Undertaker
Taker.
guy.
Yeah, I want to make a comment first. Okay, about that guy, that Dr. Steve, I'm from Georgia. Get that straight, you jerk.
Okay, nobody knows what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Well, that guy called up and said he knew me. I was talking about Willie F.
That was last week.
Oh, that was a week
Or 2
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay,
Move
you
on
got
to
it.
something else. Come on.
Okay, on The Undertaker and The Rock and Kane, which one's going to turn with McMahon?
Probably Kane.
I agree. Probably Kane also.
And what role is Paul Bearer going to play in all this?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything lined up with Paul Bearer. I would assume he would come back with Kane, but I didn't see him this past Monday. But we'll see what happens as the whole story plays out.
Do you think that might happen Sunday on the pay-per-view and turn?
There's not a pay-per-view Sunday, but
I mean, next time when the pay-per-view is.
it could happen. We got to see how they set up King of the Ring.
Yeah, and you've got a couple of shows between now and then, so this, I'm sure that they'll lay the floor plan for it.
Yeah, and when are they going to have the life story of Kurt Angle?
The live story of Kurt Angle?
Yep.
Don't know. He hasn't been around that long, so I would think it'd have to be a little while longer
It
before
might
you get
be
to see that.
when you retire.
And another thing, is anybody in their right mind will pick Daphne over Miss Hancock?
I can't believe. I said, Daphne's cute, but when you put her against Miss Hancock, it's Miss Hancock hands down.
Miss Hancock is something else. That's all I got to say.
All right, thanks for calling, Taker. Hey, the Ayatollah did.
Yes, he did. Hey, okay, Tori Wilson,
Yes.
Miss Hancock. You still got Miss Hancock?
I'm going to tell you what, Tori was a handful.
Tori wore a lot of makeup, though.
Yes, she did, but she had, I'll tell you what, personality.
nice.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Very nice personality. Never turned down an opportunity. Anybody that come up to her, Tori, can we get your picture? Can we get your autograph? She was perfect with everybody. She's a very solid girl.
Well, she really wasn't scheduled to come out for that auction at the beginning. And
am I glad she did?
Well, and, Shane looked at me at the ring and said, hey, go see if Tori's available. So I went back there, and she was back there sipping a Mountain Dew. And I was like, Tori, can you come out for the auction? Okay. Just come on down.
Yeah,
so.
she's just a great lady. We had a lot of fun with her, and the highlight of my evening, obviously...
the highlight of your life,
it was removing her
garments. Yes. In the ring. Nothing backstage.
Hey,
it was totally up and
Yeah,
up.
it was great. Anyway, back to the phone lines again. On line 6 from Huber Heights, Dylan, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hey, what's happening?
How you doing, Dylan?
What's up, Dill?
I'm hanging, man.
All right.
Sitting here just about to leave work.
Where are you working at, Dylan?
Pizza Hut.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. We're some pizza-eating fools here.
I'm a pizza pimp.
Since we've come here, we haven't found a pizza place yet. Papa John's, Dana used to always supply us
Dana
over in
took care of
Kettering.
us.
They suck.
Yeah,
Well, we just like pizza, and especially when it's free. So if you can find somebody to hook us up since we're downtown now.
No, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, free is good.
We're still not going to get any free pizza from you, are we?
More than likely not.
Okay, well, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Although, it's a possibility. I listen to you guys every Wednesday.
We
Well, that's great
appreciate
to
it.
hear,
Thank
man.
you very much.
Do you turn us on at work?
Yes, I do.
There you go, man.
Love that.
Right from the beginning, man.
We're glad to hear it.
Hey, I got three eyes. 3 new eyes for Kurt Angle.
What's that?
Insanity, incompetence, and ignorance.
Oh, man, the Kurt Angle fans aren't going to
true.
like that.
It's true.
It's true. Are we going to see, like we saw I think it was last Thursday, I didn't catch all of it, Rikishi, Too Cool, and, what are those guys, the Dudley Boys?
What about them?
When they had that match against, was it DX and,
I know what you're talking about, but where are you going with the question? Are we going to see the Dudleys and Too Cool teaming up more?
yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't think that you're going to see, a run with a lot of 8-man or 10-man tag team matches. Here and there you're going to see things like that, but I don't think it's anything you're going to see on a regular basis.
No, because I thought it was kind of cool, but,
It was good. I mean, the gimmick was good, and you'll see that occasionally one tag team get a rub from another one, especially when they're both over like both of those teams are. But I don't think you'll see it on a long-term basis either.
Well, That's kind of where I was going with it. So.
Hey, take care up there, Papa, at Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Okay?
don't say that. Don't call him the P word.
Hey,
Yeah,
Pizza Hut, the
PJ
the
word.
home of the Edge, right?
That's right.
There you go. See, I know my
Right.
pizza.
Yes, you do.
It's obvious, isn't it?
It's
Jeez.
real obvious with both of us.
All right, let's go to the next caller, and let's go to
Line 7 from Dayton to Good Guy. You got the wrestling guys.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
How's it going, Goody?
Goody.
Goody?
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 Goody guys.
Okay, I'll ignore that one. Hey, I was just wondering, you guys might have covered this earlier, but what's going to happen with Kane? Is he actually going to get the title, or what are they going to do with him? Because I know that they're always talking about at WWF.com about how he's so respected and they're so lucky to have him, but it seems like they always take him and they put him in a storyline where he ends up getting like screwed out of everything. I was just wondering if he's actually going to get a title shot and actually get it anytime soon.
We haven't heard anything about, a title run for Kane. We just talked a couple minutes ago. We have heard talk about turning Kane and aligning him with the McMahons. But, we really don't know exactly what's going to happen with Kane.
And Kane is very well respected. He's quite a physical specimen. He's a great company man, and he's just a great performer. And you never know. I'd like to see him get the strap, but I don't think that's in the works right now with everything else going on.
Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, one more thing. You guys might have covered this earlier, but I got on kind of late tonight. I was wondering, do you know when Ken Shamrock might make his return?
Hopefully never.
Well, no, little Ken Shamrock bashing, my God. Actually, they're taping, I believe, this weekend on FX, the Fox channel.
Mm-hmm.
They have that World's Tough Man competition show.
Yeah.
And they are putting together a wrestlers versus football players special, which
Yeah,
I believe is
my
going to
friend.
run in August. Ken Shamrock is going to be the captain of the wrestlers team.
Oh, wow.
And that's really all we know about him wrestling. I've heard him popping up on a couple indie shows out in California, but as far as him making a return to the WWF or anywhere else big time, I haven't heard anything about that.
Oh, okay, because I'd like to have him around for a little while. I don't know if you guys remember the Union or not, that little group that was around for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, Mankind, Test, Big Show, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy how, it was around, it had a big match at the pay-per-view, and they just disappeared.
Yeah, that was an idea which did not last.
Oh, God, no. That's okay. Well, thanks, guys.
Hey, we appreciate the phone call.
Thanks
Okay,
for calling,
hey,
Good
Jobber.
Guy.
You there, Jobber?
Jobber, you have a caller.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, I just want to say, hey, I hadn't heard you all night.
No, he got a box of Goldberg cereal and he's had his face wrapped around it.
Yeah, I've been eating it. It's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
All right, take care.
Yeah, take it easy.
Thanks for
All right,
calling,
bye-bye.
Good Guy.
Hey, we got to get to a break, and when we come back, a couple more callers. If you want to try and hop on board before the end of the night, 457-1065. You are listening to The Wrestling Guys.
On WBKI Buckeye Country 1. And welcome back to the Wrestling Guys, the tag team champions of talk radio, and the fastest 2 hours of professional wrestling is quickly winding down. We're brought to you by Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz, the accident attorneys. Put a tiger on your team.
Want to mention a couple things real quick before we get to the calls. This Saturday, once again, Outlaw Championship Wrestling, John Bryan Community Center, 229-8189, the phone number for the guys up there in Yellow Springs.
Maniac Mark Mustang, Dr. Creep, all the guys, a great show upcoming. Be there this Saturday night.
Ought to be a lot of fun. Also, don't forget, the Wrestling Guys website is up and running, thewrestlingguys.com, and, of course, the Wrestling Guys hotline at 285-0991, sponsored by Pulsations Nightclub. And, again, Pulsations, the Miami Valley's champion of pay-per-views. Ladies' Night happening tomorrow, if you're interested in that. It's at 291-9212. Not you.
No, I wouldn't go to that.
You just might go and watch, but that'd be it.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, on thewrestlingguys.com, we have a fan page that we are developing, and if you want to show the world what you look like, there's a couple places on there you can email either Marty or myself if my email link gets fixed.
If it ever does.
And send us your photos, and that way we can kind of all build this happy little community we call the Wrestling Guys.
Yeah, and let the other fans see what our Wrestling Guys fans really look like.
Exactly. It could be a little scary.
Even
in
you,
some
Jobber,
cases.
you can send a picture in.
Cool.
We have the boys from WAD. We're going to put those up there, too. That's scary.
That's
group.
real scary.
Spanish Fly and Commissioner X and all that.
HWA coming to Middletown May 24th, yes. June 24th. For more information, you call 513-684-HWA1.
A couple more callers to wrap up here before we call it a night. Let's go back to the phone lines, Marty.
And your favorite caller on line 8, he's the man himself, the courtesy clerk from Kroger's. Cliff, you've got the Wrestling Guys.
Hey,
Hey, how's everybody tonight?
Good.
Clifster.
Yeah, it's the Clifster. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Go for it, Cliff.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to the McGraw boys of OCW Wrestling. Reason why, did you see the news report that they had on Channel 2 News about 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. They did a good job on saying, you know, that type of wrestling that they was having down towards Cincinnati or wherever they was, having that at where it was getting a little too wild, that, you know, that wasn't too good of wrestling. I wouldn't want to pay to see that. You know, I'd rather go see the McGraw boys and how they are trying to get up into the big time and so forth, and also all the other stars in the OCW and UCW wrestling, and you know, that tries to give wrestling a good name and not a bad name, you know.
Cliff, I couldn't agree more. There's a thin line between extreme wrestling and sadomasochism, and sometimes people cross the line, but...
and the wrestling guys, I'll tell you right now, we do not approve of it, never have, never will, and what we've seen on that excerpt on Channel 2 was ridiculous.
Exactly. Cliff, we got to go. Thanks a lot for the phone calls. Thanks to you, everybody, for listening tonight. Big props going to Stephen Regal for joining us tonight. Appreciate that. And we're done again.
We're done again. OCW this Saturday night. Cliff, we're sorry to cut you short, buddy. We always like you to be on. Bill from Dayton, give us a call next time. It's the end of 2 hours of nonstop wrestling talk, chatter, highlights, lowlights, and a lot of cereal being eaten here tonight. You've been listening to the Tag Team Champions, the Wrestling Guys.
Later.
How about there, Yellow Springs? We know you're running again July 8th.
That's right, and we want everybody to come out and see us. You know, everybody talks about WWF and WCW. I would like to see the little indies get a little more, you know, push with everybody.
Hey, Chuck, we got to get to a break, but we appreciate the phone call.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
All right,
thanks
take
for
care.
calling in.
Good evening.
Chuck West from OCW. 457-1065. If you want to hop on board tonight and try and save this program, because God knows we're not, you're listening to the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country.
106.5.
Thank you very much, Billy. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys, brought to you by Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz. Put a Tiger on your side 24 hours a day. Call them. Marty, you get the number.
I get the number again,
Yeah.
1-800-INJURED. Free initial consultation, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Call them, Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz.
And as we've said before, there's locations everywhere with Dyer. Downtown Dayton, Piqua, Springfield, Lima, Heber Heights, and also in Middletown. And don't forget about Middletown, June 24th, the HWA at the National Guard Armory on South Main Street. And again, tickets are $10 in advance. Bell time, 8 o'clock. And for more information, look online at hwaonline.com.
Speaking of hwaonline.com, a completely new website being developed that, in my opinion, and I've been looking at it under its development, will rival the other, the WWF and WCW websites.
Really?
They're doing a fantastic job with it. Date that it should come up, I believe, is the 17th, so we're looking at maybe Sunday here, or sometime in that close time frame. We'll go to HWA Online. It's going to be a fantastic new website. And on the 24th, speaking of wrestling fans, Danny Graves, the babyface assassin himself, who just lost his first game last night from the Cincinnati Reds, and Aaron Boone, who got hit with a ball and I guess has a broken nose from all what I heard last evening and saw the pitch. It was
he needed that.
He did need
He toughen up that face.
We'll tell him that. Are going to be appearing at Classic Cards and Collectibles on the 24th, the afternoon before the Middletown show. Free autographs. Something we're doing. The Reds love wrestling. We're tying it into the shows. Most of you that were at the Pillman know that Danny Graves, Dimitri Young, Sean Casey were all there. Compliments of the Wrestling Guys. And come on over and meet Aaron Boone and Danny Graves. Classic Cards and Collectibles. Call there for information. 743-1792.
Also, don't forget, with local shows around the area, this Friday night, Northwest Center in Dayton, a free show brought on by Unified Championship Wrestling, Big Daddy Raj Cox, Big Jim Hutchinson, Maniac Mark Mustang, all of the UCW favorites. Call them at 640-1921 for information
7 o'clock bell time. Early bell time for this outdoor show, but we'll take it inside if there's inclement weather.
Then happening July 8th, Outlaw Championship Wrestling in Yellow Springs at the John Bryan Community Center. Call 937-229-8189 for info on that show.
That should be a big show because that will lead up to the Wrestling Guys show coming in. VCW show that night also in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, July 8th with the IWA. Jimmy Snuka coming in. That's going to be at the Freedom Road Center.
I don't think Jimmy Snook is coming in now.
What happened?
I happened to look at one of their websites the other day, and I saw somebody else, and now if one of you guys are listening from VCW, please give us a call, but there was another name in place of Jimmy Snuka's for the show.
Oh, geez.
So I'm not sure what's going on there, but Todd or one of the other guys are listening.
You're the commissioner.
Well, hey, they don't run it
You
all
should
by me.
know.
I take charge the day of the show, and I take charge because I can.
There's no such thing as kayfabe tonight on the show.
No, there isn't. Raj pointed it out early, and it's been blown completely.
Hey, in case you are just joining us, please forgive us, or at least if you are just joining us, you missed pretty much the worst show maybe in our history. It hasn't been bad tonight.
No, it hasn't.
It's just been kind of
it's not
off
been.
the wall.
It's a little bumpy,
off
but
the
we're
wall.
making it here. Let's roll with it.
But news in case
no sense in telling everybody that like 7 or 8 times an hour, though.
No, I know. Anyway, news that you may have missed. Kimberly Page has quit World Championship Wrestling over creative differences.
And we're all broke up.
Just happens to coincide with Diamond Dallas Page taking some time off to heal his back.
How convenient.
DDP still with the company, although Kimberly says she has proven herself that she could get over and perform as a wrestling character, and it's time to move on to new challenges.
And her and Reno Miro going to tag up as a new tag team champions of something, but nobody knows what it is.
Tammy Lynn Sitch's bio has been taken off of WCW.com. Chris Candido was at the Thunder Show tapings last night. You'll see him tonight on the program. Tammy was not.
Thank God somebody has a job.
Read into that what you want to. Lane Storm, his visa problems have all been worked out. He will be joining WCW this Monday. Steven Regal made the announcement last night. He will be on Raw and SmackDown next week. Great to see him coming back to the WWF. Great Muta having some visa problems of his own. He should be okay in time to make it to WCW by June 26th. And that's really about it as far as
you forgot some of the biggest news to be broke tonight.
What's that?
About Willie.
Do you want to? Should we break that?
I don't know. It's up to you. I'm going to leave this totally up to you. You've broken every other rule.
See, what you've done now is
Yes,
you've mentioned it, and now we have to say it.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't
We
have
can't
to.
do that to the listeners.
We have to tell him?
Yeah, we do now.
No, maybe he doesn't want us to.
I will anyway.
Willie, I didn't want him to. I've fought him all night.
No, you just opened it up.
Willie, it's almost 20-9. I fought him all night about it, but he's bound and determined to do it.
Willie F. Has accepted a position, I guess, with Heartland Wrestling Association to be a manager down there. We're really not sure as far as the storyline goes or exactly what he's going to be doing, but I know a lot of people wanting to see Willie F. back in action along the ringside area, so great to see Willie F. making the jump to the Heartland Wrestling Association.
And a lot of negotiations have went on for quite some time. Willie, looking to get back into professional wrestling, does a great job with our hotline, fills in as one of the wrestling guys. Not that he could ever be one, but he does fill in. Still works occasionally for VCW. Actually, Logan Kane and Trevor are both the champions there with Willie at the helm. And now Willie, after months of negotiations, has inked on the dotted line, at least from what we've heard, for the Heartland Wrestling Association. So kudos and congratulations, Willie.
Absolutely. If you want to hop on board tonight, 457-1065, the number if you want to jump onto the wrestling guys. And open phone lines again?
Correct.
Open phone lines. So again, if you've complained over the last year or so that you've not gotten on, this is your time, 457-1065.
A lot of power outages due to the storms going through the Dayton area, so this is an opportunity to get in and be on the wrestling guys.
There you go.
A lot of other things to talk about, though, and we've talked about websites. If you haven't been to our website yet, it's been some changes made. Our new columns go in. We're going to start a weekly mailing list, so sign up for that. I know there's about 50 to 75 people that have signed up for it so far. And our live audio should be up next week on our website, which is TheWrestlingGuys.com. Not Wrestling Guys, The Wrestling Guys. We are often imitated, often attempted to be duplicated, but never will anybody else be the Wrestling Guys.
You know what they say, though, imitation is the
form of flattery.
Serious form of flattery. Yeah, we're finding that out. Let's go back to the phone lines to Kettering. We've got Justin. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, Justin.
I was just wanting to tell you, Shawn, that was the Matt Hardy, Chris Benoit match where Matt did the springboard into the DDT on the concrete.
Thank you very much. I thought it was a Hardy, but for some reason I could not remember exactly who was in that match.
I sat there drawing a blank also.
But that was very impressive, and what we were talking about earlier, Chris Benoit, Matt Hardy outside the ring, Matt doing a springboard, and then coming back down off the ropes with a DDT onto the floor on Chris Benoit. Very innovative move. Nice to see that.
Yeah, both the Hardys matches were pretty good last Monday.
Yeah, but you're biased, so.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is Justin Griffith, who's maybe the biggest Hardy Boys fan there is.
No, you know it.
Hey, Justin, you were a part of the Brian Hildebrand Fantasy Camp, and I know it's been a couple weeks now. Has your body healed up yet?
It took it a while, about 2 weeks probably. I was still having trouble walking after that. Made my mom wheel me around in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Have you talked to your girl from Oklahoma since you left the camp?
Oh, no. I'll probably be giving her a call in a few weeks, though.
Star-crossed lovers, jeez.
Well, thanks for that, guys. I just want to tell you.
Hey, Justin, thanks for the info.
Thanks for calling. We'll be looking forward to that tape you guys are putting together.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care.
Back to line 2, the Doctor of Love himself, Stevie Hayes. You've got the wrestling guys.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Doc?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey, Marty, how's your mouth still tonight?
Oh!
That's not...
Now, we should explain
Somebody's got a big mouth.
No, Marty actually had to go to the dentist this afternoon because he has an abscessed tooth. Correct?
That's correct. That's another reason we're a little bumpy. But, and I honestly, he's right, Stevie. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it, but they're not going to do the surgery until next week, it looks like.
We'll be thinking about you, bud.
Yeah, I'm going to be thinking, too.
What I'm calling in about, man, is I think that WCW right now is passing up the biggest opportunity they've had in a long time. People's getting tired of seeing the same shit on WCW.
Oh, watch it there.
I'm sorry.
Family show.
Same stuff on WWF week after week. So why don't WCW get their heads out of their butt and do the right thing and get something on there worth watching?
I think WCW, this past Monday on Nitro, I thought the booking of Nitro was good, the ideas they had, but they lacked the execution. When you see Kimberly spray herself with the perfume, when you see Goldberg attempt a chair shot on Kevin Nash, which misses him by about 3 feet, those are the things which, unfortunately, you've come to expect from WCW.
Exactly, and it's almost becoming a comedy to me.
One thing that happened this past Monday, I don't mean to cut you off, Steve. One thing that happened, the Standards and Practices division of Time Warner nixed a storyline which was going to have Vampiro burning down one of the dressing rooms in Asia, who is, in fact, the real-life girlfriend of Dale Torborg, who plays the Demon. She was going to get burned. The Demon would come out, spray blood in Vampiro's face, and Standards and Practices said, you know what, that's not a good idea. We don't want to see that. So they had to kind of change that whole storyline around at the last second. That's why you saw that end of the match. The end of that match was kind of cut off short because they really hadn't worked out an ending for it.
One thing I would like to say, one last thing, a lot of people was worried last month about Dr. Creek getting in the ring. Let me tell you what, the old man just kicked some butt.
That's what we heard.
I mean, he done a fantastic job. Not that we're going to put him on again, but he done a good job.
That was his retirement match too, Stevie?
More or less.
All right. Well, he's went through a lot, and I know he's a big wrestling fan, and if it was his dream to get in there one more time and give it a run, he got to do that, so kudos to him.
Hey, he told me, he said, Steve, he said, if there's one last thing that you can do for me, he said, if I die in the ring, he said, I want to wrestle one more time. I said, Doc, we can make that happen for you. And, seems like there's a lot of people out there calling themselves the Doc now, too. Have you noticed that?
Not too much, no.
Oh, yeah, there is. Everybody wants to be like me and Dr. Creep. But
that's that flattery thing again.
There you go.
It's just, I can't help it.
Hey, Doc, we got to get to a break. Thanks for the phone call.
Hey, you guys have a great night, and try and get out there on the 8th.
We'll do what we can.
All right, Doc.
457-1065. When we come back from the break, Cam Collins is going to join us from Unified Championship Wrestling
and
to talk a little bit more about their pre-show.
Big news about his GED tonight.
Could it be the day?
I think this is it.
The whole ceremony and everything? Wow, that's awesome. But when we come back, Cam Collins and your phone calls at 457-1065. This is the Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country, 106.5 FM.
When it's time to buy fire.
And The Rock says, and we're brought to you by Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz, the accident attorneys. Put a Tiger on your team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-800-INJURED. Give them a call. If you've got trouble, they'll be in your corner.
Hey, one thing we want to mention, ECW's fan website, Strictly ECW, probably the best fan website of any organization there is. They're having a poll. They're putting together a limited edition ECW compact disc. Harry Slash, the guy who produces all of ECW's music, is going to put 4 songs. It's going to be a very limited edition CD The one song that is definitely going on there is going to be Mike Awesome's former theme music, Awesome Bomb. And then the other 3 are up for voting. So if it's a song that is not available commercially on either the other ECW CD or any other CD out there, then vote for it at strictlyecw.com, and then the results will be known a little bit later in the summer.
Speaking of Mike Awesome, Judge Jeff Jones.
Hanging around WCW trying to get a job, I know.
My God. Every time you turn around, he's either been seen with Mike Awesome or he's seen in the same city as WCW. Really, I'm not hearing of any interest at all.
There was never any interest in Judge Jeff Jones when he was in ECW, please.
Hey, get back to the phone line.
You know he's a favorite of mine.
Why?
I can't do that. Cam Collins, welcome to the Wrestling Guys. How are you?
Do I know this story?
I don't think you do.
All right. Camster.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Should we have a drum roll for you?
Absolutely. Why not?
Hold on. And with a significant announcement to make, only on the Wrestling Guys radio show, the one and only Commissioner of UCW, Cam the Man Collins.
Did I get my drum roll?
Yeah, you got a drum roll.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear it.
And applause, but go ahead.
All right. First of all...
Cam's never heard applause before, so he didn't know what it sounded like.
Oh no. Hey, no comments from the kids' seat.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I guess I have to do Marty's commissioner job, too, because Jimmy Snuka won't be at that show in Springfield. It'll be the Iron Sheik.
Ah, okay.
So,
That's why I forgot.
Out on that website that did the little TWI story on Willie F.
The ringreview.homestead.com.
Which that was a shoot, by the way. I've been to dinner with Willie F. I know how he is.
Willie doesn't pick up the tab anytime.
Never.
And what we're talking about, if you go to, again, it's ringreview.homestead.com. They did a complete PWI-style recap of the last VCW show with the story on Willie F. And you go check that out. But it's true, Willie's pretty cheap with the check.
Absolutely. And what's wrong with you guys? You guys okay tonight?
I don't know what's going on tonight. Marty's got an abscess tooth.
We let you on, so we know that there's a problem.
That's what I figured, too. I thought, man, I'm getting on here, and it just doesn't seem right.
There's a full moon tonight or something. Stars aren't in alignment or whatever. Something is a little fishy here tonight.
Absolutely. So what's this major announcement I have? You guys keep talking about it.
Did you get it?
Well, we heard you got the GED.
No, right now we're on fractions.
You failed again?
Kills me. Fractions kills me every time.
Oh, my God. Take the drum roll back, then.
Hey, Cam, big show for you guys this Friday.
Friday, a big free show, and a real positive sign was last night on our call-in show. Absolutely bombarded with calls down there at DATV. A lot of people calling for the first time. I guess people just watched public access on Tuesday night because they said it's the first time they ever saw us. And we took about 52 calls in 2 hours, which was a record for DATV. And a lot of people very interested in bringing out their kids for, wholesome family entertainment. So that's what we're going to provide on Friday. So it looks like it's going to be a huge crowd, whether it's indoors or outdoors.
And we had Big Daddy Raj Cox on earlier. I guess Big Jim's going to defend the UCW title against Maniac Mark Mustang. And what's your role going to be this Friday, Cam?
Well, Friday, a lot of people keep asking me about this big investigation I've been doing, and I'm not ready to really unveil anything on that, but I'll be keeping the peace a lot on Friday. We've got some guys coming back to the group that really, and a lot of people will think this is a work when I say this, some of these guys coming back have legitimate beefs with some locker room politics, and we're just going to give everybody a second chance in UCW, and it's going to come out on Friday night and see what they can do for us.
So name a few names.
I'll name
there is no kayfabe,
but not who they have beef with. Like Filthy the Clown will be coming back. Slash, the artist formerly known as Hot Sing, he'll be coming back. Those are a couple to name a few. Jail Storm actually may be in attendance on Friday as well. So there are a few. And we still have a couple others that may be coming back in the near future, but we're not sure yet.
And again, if anybody hasn't checked out a UCW show lately, I know you guys have been in other places outside of Dayton. Coming up this Friday, it's a free show, great opportunity to get reassociated with UCW. It sounds like you guys are going in a new direction, which is nothing but positive.
Absolutely. People will comment a lot that we do work outside of Dayton. They want to know when we're coming back to downtown Dayton or around Dayton, and we're right in the heart of Dayton over there at Princeton Park. So, anybody can hitch a ride, RTA, anything. It's worth it to get over there for a free show, especially, one that's where we actually have a cause working with the Youth Against Drugs and Alcohol people. So
that's one thing we haven't really touched on too much. It's all for a good cause.
Absolutely. We want to just give the kids a chance to come out and
enjoy a clean, safe environment, not have to worry about your kids out doing whatever kids like to do in downtown Dayton. So really it's just a chance for the parents to bring their kids out. You don't really hear enough about kids and parents doing things together on a weekend anymore. Not like it used to be, I guess. So this is a perfect opportunity. It won't cost them a thing. If you don't want to spend any money, you really don't have to because it's going to be free admission. So,
but if people want to give you money, of course, you're not going to be opposed to that.
Never let it be said that I would turn down money, okay? If you want to stuff my pockets, I am for the take, okay?
Wait a minute. That's not a good thing for the commissioner to say.
Well, Marty, you're on the take.
Look, look who I'm following, though. Who was the last person in power in UCW?
Willie F.
Exactly. Look who I have to follow.
Yeah,
so
good point.
I could almost get away with murder and still be, better in the sense of, holier than Willie F. was. So
there you go. Cam Collins, thanks very much. And, of course, you can listen to Cam at 640-1921, the UCW hotline, now with Dangerous Danny Doyle, of all people.
And you can always listen to Cam. Normally he has the news updated about an hour after our
yeah, because that's when I talk to Shawn, and I'll say, Shawn, here's what I got. Can you verify this? And he'll go, well, yeah, Cam, I can verify it. And the next day I hear it, it's on his hotline. So then I guess it's okay for me to report it at that point.
Cam, you're a treat. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Talk to you later.
Cam, the man, Collins. You know what? Disappointed, though. Cam not passing his GED for the 14th time.
It's those fractions.
Fractions will kill you. Cam, you know what? The wrestling guys, we're going to put this offer on the table. We are willing to pay for a tutor.
There you go.
For you for fractions.
I thought you were going to say we were going to tutor him, but I don't know how strong I am with the fractions.
Hey, we made it
either.
through. Let's.
I thought he was going to say get him a hooked on phonics or something like that.
Yeah, we can do that with him.
Well, phonics is for speech, Jobber. Fractions is math.
That is true, but that's still what I thought he was going to say.
Jobber. Okay, well, it just adds to things. It's just been mounting and mounting and mounting. But it's, you know what, it's almost over. It's been a great night. We've had a lot of interesting, thoughtful commentary this evening.
We have.
The wrestling guys have plugged through this, and next week we're going to have a great show because we've got a lot of guests lined up. But, this week was dedicated to the federations in the area. Dedicated to OCW running July 8th, to get dedicated to UCW running Friday the 16th and Saturday the 17th.
Free shows.
Yeah, call their hotline, 640-1921. Call the OCW hotline, 229-8189. VCW, we don't know everything about the shows. He's right, it was the Iron Sheik. Personally, I don't know what's going on there, but I know it's a combination show with Bull Miller's group out of Columbus. Should be a great show. Middletown, the 24th, HWA coming to town. Should be a fantastic show there. Danny Graves, Aaron Boone coming to Classic Cards. You can get all of this on our...
That's not wrestling related, please.
Hey, them guys are great wrestling fans, and anybody that donates their time the way they do, and Danny and Booney and Casey and them, I'm going to acknowledge them, even though I know it's my store. I'm still going to acknowledge them. Where else are you going to go?
You're a little biased.
Hey, anybody else will be charging $10-20 a piece for their autographs, free autographs that day. Should be a great time there. And who am I? Oh, the 22nd of July. WCW coming into town.
And July 15th, of course, the Wrestling Guys Independent Showcase at the Gateway Sports Park. We'll have the tickets on sale next week with the HWA, UCW, VCW, OCW, all of the organizations in the area in attendance. It's going to be a great night, and it's going to be a lot of fun out there at Gateway.
One thing we might want to mention, tickets are going to be limited. That is not the biggest place in the world. It's a beautiful facility, but I think we're going to be close to capacity there that evening, especially with the WCW coming in also. So it should be a great night, and we're hitting them all.
Exactly. One thing we want to remind you of, mark it on your calendar, June 25th, the World Wrestling Federation's King of the Ring. Bubba Ray Dudley now in King of the Ring, wrestling singles. Bubba! We're going to talk to him about that. But King of the Ring happening, of course, we will have everything out at Pulsations Nightclub. And if you want information about Pulsations, you can call them at 291-9212. State Route 725 behind Blockbuster in the Normandy Square Shopping Center. And, of course, they sponsor the Wrestling Guys Hotline, 285-0991. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the Wrestling Guys Hotline, and the brand-new website.
Yes. Go ahead.
So I was trying to throw something over to you.
No, I don't want you to. You're doing so well.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just keep talking. The Wrestling Guys,
so well.
I do. The WrestlingGuys.com is up and running. Exclusive columns from Marty and myself. Also, photos page. We're going to have the fans page up very soon. Next week, we should have the real audio portion of the page where you can listen to past interviews that we've conducted, links to other various wrestling websites. If you want to get up to date on other websites too, you can do that. And it's a lot of fun, thewrestlingguys.com. Hopefully you'll join us. Fire off an email to Marty or myself. Let us know what you think about the website.
It's looking good. It's we want to get more of the fans on, but the website's looking good. And when we get real audio, we have people literally from around the country that want to hear these interviews.
You know, the Wrestling Guys hotline, you know, we talk about all the time. We've gotten calls from Iowa, from Florida, from Arkansas, from Chicago. We have regular callers, and we've been, you know, we had a call from Alabama, 2 weeks ago, wanting to hear the Terry Taylor interview we had.
All the Reds call while they're on the road. I'm sure we're getting calls from L.A. because that's where they're at, San Francisco, rather.
And then I mentioned that Aaron Boone needs a broken nose. But anyway.
That was bad.
No, you kind of toughen him up. You got that baby face like Danny Graves. Get him a little bit tougher, a little more imitating. I know. Anyway. We're done for another week.
This is it?
That's it.
If you want to hear the melodious voices, 285-0991 every day. You can hear Shawn. I'm going to take a day from you.
I've offered you a day.
Right.
I have. Don't forget, by the way, Friday, UCW free show at the Northwest Center. Call them at 640-1921. We are done for another week.
You've been listening to the Tag Team Champions of Talk Radio, the Wrestling Guys. Marty Adams, Shawn Stennon, Jobber in the house. We'll be back next week. Good night, Dayton.
Later. Vince Russo's program, and ECW sold and everything else, so it's been a wild week. Let's get right into the latest news as far as today goes. We have not heard anything yet from the meeting that happened earlier today down in Atlanta involving Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, and Brad Siegel. It was expected that Vince Russo would talk about things that led to him taking some time off over the weekend. Vince Russo this past Monday episode tonight, and what is will Vince Russo have a future in World Championship Wrestling?
A lot of kudos going out to Terry Taylor for stepping in as usual. Terry seems to be the go-to guy in the organization when somebody has a problem, something goes wrong. Terry being very diversified and being able to do a lot of different things. But I think 1 week really doesn't pave the way for continued success. Vince Russo, an integral part of what needs to go on there. Maybe not as much a part as what he has been on the air, but I think that Vince Russo will still be involved in WCW.
Well, Vince Russo apparently frustrated over arguments with Eric Bischoff. I guess there's some conflict about bringing back Lex Luger, Elizabeth, and Kimberly. Vince Russo also feels like that maybe some people are trying to backstab him, which again happened during his first go-around in World Championship Wrestling. He doesn't want that to happen again. So. And plus, we heard of he's suffering from some health problems, a little bit of cold and sinuses and whatnot, just basically exhausted.
And we checked on that. We talked to, actually, we can say it, we talked to J.J. Dillon. Mm-hmm. We talked to Terry Taylor on a regular basis. And I think that adding all of that into play, where he did have a legitimate concussion, he was having sinus and a cold problem, and there's a lot of pressure. Anybody that's been in those types of situations realizes that you're being grade carded almost weekly on what you do from week to week. There's no success rate to go from. And what happened in the WWF and what happened on his early days in WCW really have no play right now.
But the problem also is Time Warner is also expecting a faster turnaround than what's happened, and they're not being realistic, I think. And Vince Russo, we'll see what happens after the meeting today, but from what we heard this past Monday, Time Warner was very happy with Nitro. Ratings weren't bad considering the NBA Finals. The feedback they're getting from everybody that watched the show is good. And also, they didn't have any arguments over standards and practices issue. For them, it was a very relaxing week in WCW, and they're now wondering, hey, do we need Vince Russo?
Well, one of the things I heard, too, is that not only was Vince Russo out and led to whatever you want to say, a quiet week, but Ferrero has had a lot of input lately, and everything that his input has been pretty much shot down by practices.
Right.
So it's, who knows what's going on. It seems to be a never-ending juggling match in WCW, and nothing has resulted in a lot of continued positive change, but maybe this is the start once again.
One guy who really put himself over backstage this past Monday was Johnny Ace, who Johnny Ace, formerly Shane Douglas's tag team partner almost 10 years ago in the Dynamic Dudes, and he's been over in Japan for a long, long time. Really, maybe the biggest American wrestler in Japan. And that's saying a lot when you talk about guys like Steve Dr. Death Williams and Stan Hansen and Terry Funk. But Johnny Ace is extremely popular overseas, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the various Japanese organizations. All Japan Wrestling may be going out of business. Everything is pretty much going to hell in a handbasket over there. And Johnny Ace is maybe looking for a full-time job back here in the States. He was backstage Monday night. He helped book a lot of the finishes, and a lot of people very impressed. And between Johnny Ace and Terry Taylor, Ned Ferrara, and Disco Inferno was involved a little bit, and Chris Canyon, and there was a lot of people working this past Monday, and it was a good product Monday night on Nitro.
And if you look at the reviews from this week, no run-ins, unbelievably unheard of in the world of professional wrestling. No run-ins, no title changes, no heel and babyface turns. Just a pretty solid night of professional wrestling.
It wasn't bad. Eric Bischoff was there. He stayed, out of the front of the camera. Eric Bischoff did a good job too this past week.
And the return of Triple Threat, as short-lived as it may be.
Could be very short-lived. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Other notes, the Bombs match that was going to happen this weekend in Philadelphia has been canceled between Terry Funk and Atsushi Onita. Apparently the Japanese organization is the one that canceled that match due to what they felt was a lack of promotion.
Lack of promotion for the Bomb, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Exactly. All right, go ahead.
Meeting scheduled tomorrow in Connecticut, possibly between the World Wrestling Federation and Raven. Not really sure what that's all about, although I think you can read between the lines there.
I don't want to read between the lines.
Fine. Raven's contract is up, and he can go to the WWF.
Raven's definitely a talent. I don't know where it falls. His talent does. Seems like there's a problem everywhere he goes, which doesn't mean a lot, because if you look at Shane Douglas, and I could go on with a lot of other names, there's always seemed to be problems.
Chris Candido.
I did not say that.
Raven recently has been in actually very good graces in ECW. He recently, about a month ago, of course, we were talking about him being offered his release, which he was.
The guy that has so much going for him in regards to promoting young talent, and he does, not taking anything away from him, but the guy is odd, and don't think it's easy to get along with somebody that's odd. He's a real peculiar type guy.
Speaking of ECW, nothing new to report on the possible sale of ECW, or at least part of it, to a group that somehow has an involvement with Jay Hausman. Now, Jay Hausman used to be involved in charge of the pay-per-view division of WCW. He did meet with Paul Heyman and Paul Heyman's lawyers last week. Apparently, Jay represents a company that has an interest in ECW, and they met for back in New York, I believe last Wednesday, I think for 2 days, and nothing new has come out of that, although Paul Heyman definitely needs some cash input. He finally got up to date this past weekend, paying his wrestlers for 2 weeks, which they're behind on. He is still, about a year behind on pay-per-view bonuses?
He is always, since the first time I met Paul Heyman, I had anything to do with ECW, he has been behind. He still owes Bam Bam Bigelow. He still owes Chris Candido. He just owes a lot of different people, and there's a lot of litigation involved.
Absolutely, and hopefully he'll be able to find some kind of sugar daddy or something to help him out and correct those problems.
You know, one thing I heard, and I don't know if you heard this, is that he's showing some interest in Lenny and Lodi.
I've heard that, yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not as a tag team either, but in, some type of a separate type,
What kind of interest are you talking about with Lenny and Lodi, Marty?
Okay. You know what? You've got a twisted mind.
Do we need to call...
But Pat Patterson, Jerry Briscoe, Monday night, toasting. Pat Patterson takes a drink. Jerry Briscoe says, I don't want to drink out of glass as you.
Well, speaking of Pat Patterson and any stereotypes you want to think of, those get played up to the hilt this Thursday on SmackDown.
They always do. And you know what? He's a great guy for... You say what you want to about those types of stereotypes, but Pat Patterson plays along and does a great job with
Absolutely, and, people make a lot of jokes about Pat Patterson, and the truth of the matter is Pat Patterson is one of the best wrestling minds there is, period.
And wasn't given a lot of kudos, I guess, when Russo was there. And Pat Patterson had a lot to do with finishes and to also give a wrestling perspective to what was going on. And I think that's part of what's missing in WCW.
Exactly, because Russo basically in the WWF would go up to Pat and say, okay, this is what I want to do. How do we do it? and Pat would, book everything and orchestrate everything and get the finishes. And Russo doesn't have that anymore. Not taking anything away from the guys in WCW, but I don't think Russo is using some of the guys he could in WCW for that same purpose as he did Pat Patterson. Ratings are in. The ratings were down because of the NBA Finals. Raw did a 5.8. Nitro did a 2.7. Again, considering the NBA Finals, not all bad there. Injury notes, Dean Malenko, he's going to get checked out a little bit later this week for his shoulder injury. Chris Candido has a broken wrist. Nobody knows why.
We're not going to release who we just talked to, but as recently as 5 minutes before the show, we were talking with one of the WCW wrestlers on the road, and nobody knows why. They don't know what. Chris just happened to show up at the tapings with a broken wrist. We know there's some problems. We don't want to delve into them right now into any extent because we haven't verified some of the things that we just recently heard.
Right.
What we can tell you is Chris Candido is not at the show tonight.
No, he is not on Thunder tonight. I don't think he's on Thunder anyway, but he's not wrestling tonight.
What we're saying is tonight, actually.
On the road, he's gone.
Yeah, now he may have been in, I'm not sure if he's on Thunder or not because that was taped.
I got the tapings around here somewhere.
But at this juncture, what we can tell you, there are some problems with Chris Candido that are being looked at right now. I know Eric Bischoff is involved. There are other people involved. And just stay tuned to the Wrestling Guys hotline at 285-0991 for all the information in the world of wrestling.
Good thing you know that number.
Thank you.
Other injury, Conan has a 90% tear of his tricep muscle.
Ooh.
He's going to have surgery. He won't be back for another 4 to 6 months.
Probably makes WCW brass a little happy, but go ahead.
Not too sure if The Rock is going to be on the Tonight Show tonight or not. Originally, WWF.com had said that appearance had been canceled, but I've also seen where now it's back on, so not sure if he's going to be on the Tonight Show or not tonight. You might want to just, pop in and double check if you want to see The Rock on.
We checked just.
I can't believe that the World Wrestling Federation would let The Rock cancel an appearance of that mainstream
The Rock
magnitude.
has a lot of things going on. The King of the Ring is the most important
this
thing.
Sunday.
That's right. That's the most important thing on his docket is
training,
preparing
yes.
for the King of the Ring.
Yes.
Remember that.
I
know your
will.
role.
Steven Regal, he should be back in front of the cameras for the World Wrestling Federation, hopefully in about 6 weeks.
Yes.
Going after the European Championship, and of course we are very, very happy for him about
Steven
that.
Regal. What
No,
accent?
not Lord anymore.
No,
he doesn't want to be referred to as Lord Steven Regal anymore.
I like him, and he will always be, in my mind.
He's your Lord.
He's your Lord.
They're not mine.
But Lord Steven Regal.
World Wrestling Federation going to try and pump up Sunday Night Heat by adding some more main eventers to the show. Triple H was on there last week, and he looked for maybe even The Rock and Undertaker to begin wrestling on Sunday Night Heat over the next couple of weeks.
Looking forward to it.
And don't forget this Sunday at Pulsations Nightclub, State Route 725 in Centerville. That is the place to watch the King of the Ring live on pay-per-view.
I think it's going to be a fantastic pay-per-view this weekend. I'll be honest with you, I was not happy with the way things led up to the King of the Ring. You said it earlier. I echoed it. It was very, very predictable this Monday. Too damn predictable. But I think King of the Ring, we're looking for some swerves. I think it's going to be a great night. Pulsation's the place to be. The heavyweight champions of pay-per-view. Normandy Square Shopping Center, 291-9212 for more information. Shawn, will you be there? That's the biggest question right now.
I think I will. Are you going to be there?
I am there.
Okay, then I'm there. Talking about this past Monday in Raw, once he said, okay, we're going to have the handicap matches. If The Rock and Undertaker and Kane all win, then Triple H's belt's on the line this Sunday. You knew what was going to happen. It was very predictable, and that's what I hated about this Monday Night Raw. Couple good matches, though. Edge and Chris Jericho was an excellent match. X-Pac and Benoit, although Sean Waltman throws the worst clothesline maybe in the history of wrestling. How can you throw a clothesline at a 45-degree angle?
It's not a clothesline, then.
Well, no, that's how he threw it.
It's a power line.
It's a power line.
Right.
Yeah, anyway.
You just didn't know. There's a difference. That wasn't a clothesline.
A little bit later, though, we are going to talk more about the King of the Ring, and if you call in tonight at 457-1065, you can give us your predictions on who the new King of the Ring will be for the year 2000.
And we're going to have a guest on a little later.
A little bit later on, Shark Boy from WCW and the HWA is going to join us. He's going to be wrestling this Saturday down in Middletown, the National Guard Armory.
And usually you can find him at Pulsations on Sunday nights, on weekends that he's not wrestling or not out of town. So we're looking forward to seeing Shark Boy and talking to him a little later in the show.
Absolutely. And he has a website now, sharkboy.net. So if you want to catch up on what's going on with him around the waters, and is the little shark been born yet?
No, I don't think
it
so.
has. He's got one that's...
Yeah, there's a little fin ready to pop out of the water.
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything lately. But
have you seen HW? We've been looking Ring Review. We want to talk about some different websites tonight. But HWAonline.com, their new website premiered, I believe, Sunday or Monday, the 17th. Really nice. I think it rivals some of the best wrestling websites I've seen in quite a while.
Speaking of websites, thewrestlingguys.com is up and running. The calendar of events page is now open. Also, we're
under construction, but open.
Under construction, but it's open. We have a few events on there you can check out. Also, my new column should be up a little bit later today, and we are still getting some pictures in. The Flamethrower Rob Dalton sent us his picture, and we've got a few others too. And we're going to
send them over. And by next week, I think you're going to see a lot different website than the one that we have. Ring Review, we're going to link to them, and I think those of you that haven't seen the Ring Review, a guy covers a lot of the independent, really doesn't go in depth on WWF or WCW, covers a lot of the independent people in the area. I think he does a great job with it, and we're going to link to his website. So I think that there's a lot of internet action going on, and we're looking forward to it. And get on our mailing list, because there's going to be a lot of different offers and opportunities to do some things with the wrestling guys. We have a huge trip planned. Looks like it's going to be August, September, and this will be huge. It's going to be a wrestling show, and all I can tell you is it's going to be in Indiana. We're going to have a bus trip to go over to it, and it should be a great evening of professional wrestling and other activities.
And if you remember the Pillman bus trip, it was a great time. We're going to find somebody that drives the bus a little better on that second bus.
We had a bad guy that day.
But everybody, I think, on the bus trip had a great time. We're going to do it again coming up, going to Indiana. More details will be coming up on that a little bit later. But we've got to get to a break. And when we do, we'll be talking to you at 457-1065. Also previewing the King of the Ring and a lot more. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country 106.5 WBKI. Wrestling fans, and that sounds like a forlorn Billy Kidman after losing Torrey right after the Pillman, but
yeah, Torrey's down at the house in Florida right now.
But,
by the way, Billy's got a new house in Florida, and that's why he wasn't on this week, had the week off, and moving in down there. We talked to him about that back at Pillman, and I guess he's living now real close to Dean Malenko, and they're like in the same neighborhood now, so kind of cool there.
Yeah, they can share things. No, I meant, like if I run out of milk or you run out of... See, we're brought to you by Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz. They're the accident attorneys, and if you have problems, you can put a Tiger on your team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by calling 1-800-INJURED.
And
what were you laughing at?
I can't. A family show. Hey, this Sunday, King of the Ring, we talked about it at Pulsations. Here's your lineup. Now, the brackets did not change from SmackDown last night, although some other things changed hands last night, but we won't spoil that.
Thank you for just announcing it, why don't you?
What'd I announce?
And you know what? You're terrible. You are terrible. I think you think all afternoon on Wednesday afternoons, how can I leak something without not really leaking it?
Val Venus battles Eddie Guerrero. Then you've got Chris Benoit and Rikishi Fatu, the Intercontinental Champion, wrestling in that match.
There's a lot of booty going on in that, baby.
The Intercontinental Champions in that.
I got you. I'm trying to ignore what you're saying there.
And people are saying, well, Benoit is the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. Will you stop?
Bull Buchanan takes on Crash Holly, and then Kurt Angle versus Chris Jericho. That should be a very good first round.
You know what? I'm going to ask Rikishi next time WWF's in town to give you a butt face.
Give me a stinky face?
A stink face, yes.
Then, depending on what the finals end up being, it'll be one of these matches. You're either going to have Val Venus, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, or Rikishi battling either Bull, Crash, Kurt Angle, or Chris Jericho. Looking at that, I'm starting to think it's going to be Rikishi and Kurt Angle.
I think that'd be a great matchup.
You just kind of look at how it all breaks down. They're teasing a Rikishi-Val Venus feud, so you think that Val Venus is going to beat Eddie Guerrero and Rikishi will beat Benoit in that first round to let those two take on each other in the semifinals. Buchanan, Crash Holly, I think Buchanan's going to win that one. Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, obviously.
We ought to put a bracket together for Sunday and have people fill it out and entry. Somebody wins it all.
Well, what is he going to win?
Well, we'll give him something.
What do you want to give?
Stink face, right? Something shit, I don't know. Oops.
Jobber's up there raising his hand.
Jobber
wants a stinky face.
Yeah, well, Jobber likes that.
I don't remember raising my hand.
6-man tag team match is your main event for this Sunday at King of the Ring. Triple H's world title is on the line. He teams up with Vince and Shane McMahon to take on The Undertaker, Kane, and Rock. And if Undertaker, Kane, or Rock, whoever gets the pinfall there, would be the new WWF Heavyweight Champion. And also, the winner of the King of the Ring. Fully loaded, which we saw that poster for earlier, and that was a little interesting.
That was interesting. Go ahead. Since you've seen it, you should tell us who's
fully
on it.
loaded. The tagline is "Roll the dice."
Roll the dice.
And
the crapshoot.
big picture of Stone Cold Steve Austin rolling the dice for this pay-per-view. Now, everything we've heard is that Steve is nowhere near ready to come back, but he may be making an appearance at the pay-per-view next month, and that's going to be July 23rd.
He's being pushed hard by those puppies. You know what, I say that tongue-in-cheek because Deborah is phenomenally in shape.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very engrossed in fitness and in making herself. I mean, Deborah, to look at her on TV, you would not realize really how petite she is and in what great shape she is in some areas. But I know that she is really going to be beneficial in helping him in his recovery.
Well, you know, last year we did a thing with her and Val Venus in town, and she came up to me, and first thing is like, okay, where can I go work out? I mean, first thing that she had to go do was go work out before she did anything else. She's very devoted to her
very
fitness.
Conscientious.
And her and Steve should be tying the knot here sometime soon.
You think we're going to get invited?
I don't think anybody's getting invited.
Yeah,
I think it's a quick Justice of the Peace or Las Vegas thing. Also, the King of the Ring this Sunday, the only other match, it's a handicap tables and dumpster match. Tori, Road Dogg, and X-Pac versus Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
It should be a great match. You know somebody is going to go crunching through several tables.
And again, we will be at Pulsations this Sunday for all of the action. If you need information on what they're going to have to offer, 291-9212. Pulsations, the heavyweight champions of pay-per-view. Let's get right to the phones. 457-1065, your King of the Ring predictions, anything else. And first, let's go to
line one, Dave Diamond from OCW. You've got the wrestling guys.
Shawn and Marty, how you guys doing?
Doing fine, Dave.
How's it going, man?
All right, you guys are looking well.
Well, we're
how can you tell
hey,
we're
that's
looking
it,
well?
Man. We're on live radio, brother.
What's up, Dave?
I got a question, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Would you guys think that the morale backstage of the Big Three would elevate if there was a union in professional wrestling? In other words, everybody gets paid the same with the same benefits?
I don't.
That's
It's a good question. I think that the morale. That's going to be a tough thing getting a union together. It's
There's been a lot of talk over the years about that. I've been backstage and we've talked, over casual conversations with a lot of the talent. I think that there would be as many problems as you see now, but they would be different types of problems because main eventers, people that feel that they're drawing more, they should be compensated more. And when you get into a union environment, nothing wrong with a union environment. I'm very pro-union. But in a union environment, everybody plays at the same level, a lot of times regardless of where you're at. And the elevation becomes a bit of a problem. Now, I'm sure you could work around that in some way by pyramiding or using some type of a scale. But I think you would have a lot of other problems. But who knows? I mean, that's a great question, Dave.
The other thing, too, Dave, is the way that the wrestling business is, and it's a sad commentary possibly, but if somebody found out that, hey, I know this guy is forming a union, that person would go to the management and let them know that to cause the other guy problems so that he can maybe take his spot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to say it, but there is a lot of backstabbing that goes on in this business.
You're kidding.
No.
You're no way.
Nah,
That's not
it's unfortunate, but I mean, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Well, I mean, the only reason that I ask that is because, so often you guys are reporting about, a lot of the contractual troubles that a lot of these guys have. And I was just kind of wondering if a lot of that would be alleviated if these guys had, like, some kind of collective bargaining power with a Paul Heyman or, like that.
Well, Dave, there's contract problems in every sport that has a union. You look at the NBA, you look at baseball. They all have their individual problems, and I think that union or not, you're still always going to have those situations in wrestling where, two sides are going to butt heads, and it's going to be ugly once in a while.
Do some of these guys, not so much so the main eventers or if the main eventers, but do a lot of these guys have, like, their own solo agents, like with regard to the Jerry Maguire kind of thing, or are they all just represented by one, law firm kind of thing?
Almost everybody has their own different agent. A lot of the guys go in and represent themselves. They don't want an agent to be a part of that for a number of reasons. Either they have long-standing relationship with the company, or they feel that they can do it and they're educated enough to do it on their own. Now, you move into, I'll use a Rock or a Steve Austin because I know those two gentlemen do have agents.
Right.
You get to a certain point and the contractual language becomes so involved that I think that anybody in their right mind needs to put an agent because of the money coming in from merchandising, from pay-per-views, from appearances, from extra dates. it really becomes very bizarre in the world of wrestling.
And as popular as wrestling is now, where you have so many other opportunities to get involved in movies and recording contracts and television, a lot of these guys know the wrestling business. They don't know that side of the entertainment business that well, and I think it behooves them to get an agent, get an attorney that knows the language and how to handle those type of negotiations.
Yeah, that's all I had, guys.
Hey, Dave, before you go, July 8th, OCW show, Yellow Springs.
Yeah, we are in the process of hammering out the card. It should hopefully be on the OCW hotline probably sometime Friday or Saturday.
Okay, I know we've posted it on our calendar, WrestlingGuys.com, calendar of events. And
Shawn, one other thing. I heard you a couple weeks ago. I believe you were talking with the Doctor of Love, Stevie Hayes, about possible hair versus hair match. And the only thing I can really say, in all honesty, Shawn, is that, if the Wildman were to ever lose his hair, that would be the end of OCW as we all know it.
It's like stamps, and OCW is powered by your hair.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, Dave.
Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for calling, Dave.
Speaking of guys that have lost their hair, Mick Foley has shaved his head.
Mick.
I don't understand. We got a picture of it in here in the studio. We may have to try and get a copy and put it on the website or something.
Hey, we should do that because it's a pretty bizarre picture. Not that Mick is the best-looking guy in the world or the worst, because really, if you go back in his younger days, Mick was a pretty handsome fella. Mm-hmm. But this picture here leaves a lot to be desired with his teeth removed and everything else out. It's a pretty funny picture. Him and Ric Flair, there was a rumor going around. Him, Ric Flair, and Eric Bischoff looking to form their own wrestling company.
Maybe they could. Who knows?
Yeah, and somebody told him about it. He wanted to know who started it.
Well, the one thing that's going around about the whole Vince Russo arguments with WCW is they're wondering if this is an elaborate work, because we've all heard about the SFX company looking to buy part of WCW. They said they are under the impression that if they buy into WCW or buy the entire company, whatever, that there will kind of be two separate organizations within WCW. One which would be broadcast on TBS and TNT as we have it now, and then the other would be on Fox and the FX channel. So some are wondering, is this going to try and start the division, and you're just going to have Vince Russo and maybe Lex Luger and Kimberly and whoever on separate sides, and then have pay-per-views where it's one organization battling another?
That's a point. We may be wrong, but our sources tell us that it's not a work.
The other thing, too, though, when we talk to a lot of people behind the scenes, WCW does have a history of not letting their talent and their employees in on angles. So, they may be telling us the truth. They may not think it is a work, but it could be. Who knows?
What's your old saying, buddy?
Life is a work.
Life is a work.
457-1065, going to hop on the wrestling guys. We got, 1 minute, Jobber?
Hold on, Jobber's
giving us a finger or something.
Something's going on with Jobber.
What's going on, Jobber?
What I was trying to tell you is who we had originally on line 2 has hung up, so we're going to have to go to line 3.
Okay, let's go to line 3 then. And on line 3 from Dayton, Ohio, Mike, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hi, how are you guys doing, son?
All right,
doing
Mike.
Good, Mike.
I just want to know, do you think the Radicals will be getting back together?
No.
I think that the Radicals served their place in the methodology that they came into the WWF. I think right now they're stronger in the angles that they're working, and they're going to stay the way they are.
Eddie Guerrero's over now more than he ever has been with China. Chris Benoit's doing well. Dean, we don't know the seriousness of his injury. And Perry Saturn, well, that's the guy we've heard maybe on the out. But again, we don't really think that they're going to be getting back together anytime soon.
And do you know when SmackDown 2 for PlayStation is going to be out?
Shawn, you'll know this.
Comes out this December. I know that stuff. The fans want to know.
No, I'm not saying, Shawn. Let me tell you, if there's anything you want to know about games or little men, Shawn is a resident expert. That's all.
Yes. Anyways, SmackDown 2, I believe, is either November or December. But before that, you're going to have Royal Rumble come out for the Dreamcast, which is basically a souped-up version of the first SmackDown.
Well, I don't have a Dreamcast. It won't do me no good.
Well, go buy a Dreamcast then. I don't know. All right.
Maybe we should give away a Dreamcast. Don't. Why you get so hard with it?
Oh, and I got the King of the Ring prediction.
King of the Ring prediction. Mike and Dayton, who is going to win King of the Ring this Sunday?
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit.
He will defeat Kurt Angle.
Benoit versus Angle, with Benoit winning in the finals. Okay, Mike, we've got you written down.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Mike.
All right, we got to get to a break. 457-1065 if you want to call in. A little bit later, we're going to talk about the PTC. This is fun.
That is going to be fun. Don't forget and listen then, because that's going to be one rousing commentary.
PTC wants everybody to stop advertising on the WWF, but They're getting money from the World Wrestling Federation.
Isn't that amazing?
We'll talk about that. 457-1065 a little later. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Hi, this is Ben. Your naked...
Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz. 1-800-INJURED is the number to call. The accident attorneys, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Free initial consultation, and you can put a Tiger on your team. And I'll tell you, those guys are everywhere. I don't care what corner you turn. If it's not a bus, it's a billboard. If it's not a billboard, it's a commercial. Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz.
Let's go ahead and talk about this PTC thing happening. And if you haven't been following the story on the hotline or the internet, the Parents Television Council, the PTC, last week threatened MCI WorldCom to pull their advertising from WWF SmackDown, or they would do an aggressive nationwide educational campaign to inform Americans that MCI WorldCom shares WWF SmackDown's offensive values.
Offensive
values.
Okay.
MCI now joins Coca-Cola, General Motors, McDonald's, and many others that the PTC has basically bullied into pulling ads from WWF programming.
Sounds like a noble cause.
Very noble cause. Well, this came out yesterday. LordsOfPain.com was the first ones to bring it up, so we want to credit them with the story. Basically, if you go to the PTC website, I checked this out earlier today, the Parents Television Council website has a marketplace. Now, everything you buy through the marketplace, a percentage goes back to the PTC, and according to their website, quote, knowing your purchase in our marketplace will help support a commitment to bring responsibility to the entertainment industry. Why would you shop any other way, end quote.
And it sounds like a great plan.
One of the companies in the PTC marketplace is a little store named Toys R Us.
Yeah, just a small national chain.
Little mom and pop shop.
Right.
The World Wrestling Federation toys are the most popular items that Toys R Us sells, including over their website. They even have ECW merchandise, which is suitable for children ages 4 and up.
Let me make sure I've got this right. If I go to Toys R Us through their website,
yes,
and I order a WWF or ECW action figure,
correct,
part of the money goes to PTC.
Exactly.
Okay. And I know that I've got to be missing something because they are focusing their energies on removing
the World Wrestling Federation and WCW. They want to get rid of it. But when you buy a product through Toys R Us from the PTC website, then that money goes back to the PTC to help fund their little operation.
You don't think they know that, do you?
Well, what I said today on the hotline, and one of our very devoted callers and listeners, Flamethrower Rob Dalton, sent us an email, which I have went ahead and forwarded to other wrestling websites. I hope
very insightful, and Rob, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Rob has started People for a Free Television. He agrees what I said to today on the hotline. The PTC should do the right thing. If the World Wrestling Federation is so evil, then the money that the PTC has received from this, I would consider that to be dirty money. I mean, if you are so against something, you wouldn't want to take money from it.
Yeah, if you're against drugs, you're not going to have a drug dealer supporting you.
Exactly. So the PTC should refund any of the money that they have gotten from Toys R Us, from WWF, WCW, and ECW action figure or whatever else they sell, those type of products. It's only the right thing to do.
I agree. BJ Bethel, if you're listening, this should be something you should take and run with. It's unbelievable. And if you're going to be a hypocrite, then stand up and say you made a mistake. But don't continue to go along and take money from the same people that you criticize.
Exactly. And PTC, do whatever you want to with it. Find a nice charity, give it to them, but don't put it in your own pockets. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
457-1065, you want to get your opinions on that. Let's go back to the phone lines.
All right, let's go to line 4 from Huber Heights. Troy, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hi, I have 3 questions.
Go for it.
How many?
What is the new WCW cereal going to be called?
It's actually out. We've got actually some boxes over here in the station.
Shawn likes it.
I have yet to try it, really.
No, you did the night we bought it. Yes, you did.
I did not.
I tried it. It's good.
Jobber ate like the whole box of one of them.
Put your hands in there. Oh,
but they have
Troy, you'll have to excuse
Goldberg, they have Goldberg, they have Bret Hart, and they have Sting. If they have any others, I don't know. That's all we've seen here in the studio.
What's the name of it?
It's just WCW cereal. It's WCW Bret Hart, and it's a honey almond cornflakes, oven-baked cornflakes, lightly coated with honey and almond
But
dust.
they're all different.
Yum, yum.
Troy, each one, you look which wrestler's on there, it's a different type of cereal.
Yeah, Sting is like a chocolate cereal or something like that. So, anyway, what other questions do you have?
How long is Sting going to be gone?
Sting should be back in about a month.
Okay.
Now, do you like Sting?
Yes.
Is it going to be the same Sting? do you think, when he comes back?
You know, we've heard that they're going to change his character a little bit, and whatever they have planned, he's not too happy about it, but we'll have to wait and see.
We like Sting too, buddy.
What else?
And my final one?
Yes.
Why doesn't Kidman do the shooting star press anymore?
Good question. I don't know.
Who told you to ask that question?
No one.
You come up with that on your own?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I think maybe part of it was that he was a heel, and maybe that's the way he changed his style a little bit to be a little more rough or a little more hardcore. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, Troy, that is, because it's a signature move of his, and
it was, but people change, and Torrie can exhaust you a little bit. Maybe he doesn't have the energy to do the shooting star press like he used to.
Oh my God.
It could be.
Troy, that's a great question. I'll tell you what we will try to do. We'll try to ask Billy Kidman and get an answer for you.
Okay.
All right. Take care, man.
Hey, thanks for listening. From Huber Heights, Troy with 3 insightful questions.
Very good job. And he knows his stuff. He noticed Kidman's not doing the shooting star press, wants to know the reason why.
Yeah, he's right on top of it.
Knows his stuff.
Hey, let's go back to the phone lines from New Western. John, you've got the wrestling guys on line 5.
Yeah, I got a couple of quick where are they nows.
Okay, we'll do what we can.
All right, Magnum TA.
Magnum TA, Terry Allen, one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm laughing because he smiles every time somebody brings up Magnum.
Magnum's doing a lot of things in real estate. He also does some, not landscaping, but some designing and things along those lines. He's down in the Virginia area, I believe. He also has his own fitness gyms, which Nikita Koloff and Ricky Steamboat and all those guys from the old Crockett days in the NWA seem like they all went that route. But that's what he's doing right now.
I see. Why haven't they brought him? Brought some of those guys back in, anything. Like special guest referees or anything like that.
Well, Magnum they brought back as a color commentator for a while, and he honestly he just really didn't do that well at it. And I think in Magnum's case, he had that car accident which basically ended his career, and I think it was very difficult for him to be around wrestling and not be in the ring actually
performing at the
involved
level
in the
that he was
action.
accustomed to.
He did appear, the last time I saw him doing anything wrestling related, he was a special guest manager about 2 years ago at an NWA show, and he actually managed Tully Blanchard and Barry Windham. And, of course, we all know Magnum had a great feud with Tully Blanchard in the mid-'80s, so that was kind of odd to see those two together. But that was the last time I've seen Terry's name anywhere involved in wrestling.
All right, and the New Breed.
New Breed. Chris Champion still wrestles. He wrestles down at NWA Wildside. He handles some of the booking there. Shawn Royal just came back to wrestling about a year ago. Now, the New Breed, and it's funny you mention this because if you check out Wade Keller's website today, he actually had a question about them. Those guys, he compared them to the Hardy Boys back in 1988. They basically came out and they had this futuristic gimmick where they said they were from, he said, I think it was 2022 or something like that.
Exactly.
And Dusty Rhodes was president of the United States, and it was a great gimmick at the time. But then they were involved in a very serious car accident, and they were both thrown from the car, and the car actually exploded after that. So they were fortunate they were thrown. They probably wouldn't be here right now. Champion wrestled as Yoshi Kwan. He's had a number of different personas. Shawn Royal, after the car accident, tried to make a comeback. Just didn't have it in him, and he got involved in some construction work. But then about a year ago, he actually made a return to wrestling. I don't know if he's still doing anything on the independent scene or not.
All right, that's about it then. Those guys were ahead of their time then, huh?
Oh, they were a lot of fun. I love that tag team.
Yeah.
I thought they were very, very entertaining.
John, where is New Western?
New Weston.
New Weston.
It's up north.
Okay, we got to work with Jobber. We're trying to get some of the new callers we're getting because our signal seems to be a lot stronger towards the Lima area, that area.
Yeah, right around in there.
All right, great, man. We appreciate you calling in.
Thanks a lot. Keep listening.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
457-1065. If you got a question tonight, a little bit later, we're going to talk to Shark Boy here on the Wrestling Guys.
Dean Rollins, Shark Boy. Go back to the phone lines again on line 6. The Black Crow, you've got the Wrestling Guys.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, Crow?
I'm doing fine. I want to first put my prediction in for the King of the Ring.
Okay.
The new King of the Ring is Kurt Angle.
It's true. It's true. Kurt Angle, I just think is the guy that they want to get up into that next level of superstardom. And I also think that you got to also throw into consideration that whoever wins the King of the Ring is going to get a title shot next month. And we've also seen where Kurt Angle maybe has now the affection of Stephanie McMahon. And I think it would be very natural to see Kurt Angle and Triple H in some kind of a program by Fully Loaded.
I hope he does become the new world champion. I'm a big fan of Kurt Angle, and I hope he becomes the new world champion. And I want to ask about, is Kurt Hennig coming back to the WWF? And if he does, will he be in the world title matches anytime soon if he comes back?
If Kurt Hennig comes back, number one, I don't think you're going to see him in a world title situation. He was backstage Saturday night in Minnesota. He talked with some of the officials backstage. Really not a lot of interest there in bringing Kurt Hennig back.
And Kurt Hennig being there because Kurt Hennig is from Minnesota.
Right.
Kurt Hennig did not, the old proverbial don't burn your bridges. Well, Kurt burnt several. And I think that, not that we're going to say he will never go back. If he did go back, I don't think that they're going to put him in the title hunt immediately in any stretch of anybody's imagination.
Not at all.
Okay, and what do you think Raven will go to the WWF? And if so, what will be his gimmick? Are they going to keep the same gimmick?
I think that Raven's gimmick would stay the same. I think it's so popular now that they would keep it. As to whether or not he will go, I would have to say I think...
The talent roster is so heavy right now in the WWF.
But you know what? ECW and their money problems, I know Paul Heyman made good this past weekend with a lot of guys, but, you know, you want to get that steady paycheck, and I got to think that anything the World Wrestling Federation would offer probably is going to be more money than what Paul can pay, and also it's going to be guaranteed money, which is something right now Paul has a problem with.
I'm not disagreeing, but I think you're going to get to a point that how do you find time and how do you find a place to keep everybody's ego in check? I know they're doing a great job right now. I'm not going to say that I disagree with anything they've done, other than I agreed with you Monday night. It was a little bit... we knew what was going to happen too much.
Well, what you've done, though, is they got a log jam. The same four guys are in the main event every week and every show. What they need to do is open that up a little more and have a little bit more variety. And a guy like Raven, I think he has great mic skills. You can't put those down.
I agree.
And he can get over without having to wrestle, which is something that is a big plus if you're in the World Wrestling Federation.
I agree.
Okay, and I got two more things. Do you think Russo will ever go back to the WWF since he's having problems with WCW?
No.
I don't think that
you talk about burning bridges. He burned it big time, and when he burnt that bridge, he did it by taking very personal shots at Vince McMahon.
Okay,
and you can do a lot of things when you leave the WWF. You don't take shots at Vince McMahon.
Yeah, you don't point it at the owner.
Okay, and my last thing is when and will BA come back, and if he does, will he get an IC title push or a title push at least?
Billy Gunn.
Funny you bring that one up.
Yeah, Billy Gunn. Everything said that he was going to come back at SummerSlam, although we've heard his rehab is going a little bit farther behind than scheduled. You might see him come back at SummerSlam as far as in front of the camera. I wouldn't look for him to wrestle until probably around Survivor Series time. And Steve Austin was very adamant in the last WWF magazine that he wants to help Billy Gunn get to that next level. And we may be doing something with Mr. Ass here in the next few months.
Yeah, he contacted us. We're looking at putting together something and working very closely with him. He's working with a friend of ours that has been on our show, Kirk White, out of California, currently on a couple promotions. Not actually wrestling, but some appearances. And we look to bring B.A. Billy Gunn in very soon.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
All right,
thanks
take care.
for calling in, man.
We got to get to a break. 457-1065. When we come back, I think we'll call Shark Boy.
Going to call Dean up.
Do a little fishing.
He's working right now and find out what's going on.
He's not working.
No, he is working.
He's not working.
He's training.
He's not working.
Okay.
You're listening to The Wrestling Guys on Buckeye Country 106.5.
And welcome back to The Wrestling Guys. Shawn Stedham, Jobber in the house, Marty Adams. And yes, we're brought to you by the accident attorneys, Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz. 1-800-INJURED is the number to call if you want to put a Tiger on your team. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Free initial consultation. They got it all. If you're in trouble, give them a call right now.
And also locations all over the Miami Valley, Middletown, Heber Heights, Springfield, Lima, downtown Dayton, Piqua, Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz. The accident attorneys.
You got it, buddy. And I'll tell you what, if I was in trouble, I was in their offices. Unbelievable.
Well.
And there were a lot of people with smiles on their faces, so I thought they were getting some help.
I bet so. Also, don't forget, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the Wrestling Guys hotline. For all the latest news, call 285-0991, brought to you by Pulse Stations Nightclub.
Yeah, and if you have a hotline, do what every other hotline does. Call our hotline and then fill your hotline.
That's the Cam Collins way.
That's the Cam Collins. And once again, our condolences to Cam Collins for flunking his GED for the 16th time. Cam, keep working at it. We will hold hold one heck of a party for you when you do graduate.
By the way, speaking of Cam, on a serious note, we want to thank him and Raj and everybody out at UCW last Friday night at the Northwest
Had a great
Center.
time.
Free show out there, and weather...
Yada, youth against drugs and alcohol.
Exactly. Weather hurt a little bit, but still had a very good crowd, very live crowd. They got into things this past Friday night, and kind of a start of a new beginning for UCW. I know they taped it, a lot of angles. Filthy the Clown is back, so you might want to check them out Monday nights at 10 o'clock. Flipping between Raw and UCW to find out everything going on there.
They had a great call-in show last week.
And you stiffed me, man.
What?
Marty and I cut a promo for the show.
Yes, I did get you.
And we did a little headlock, and Marty...
I was a little
hurt.
stiff, yes.
Yes, just a little bit.
Had to make it look good. But let's get to the celebrity hotline.
Let's do that, and coming from Cincinnati, Ohio, the Heartland Wrestling Association, Les Thatcher's main event pro wrestling camp, it is Shark Boy.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Sharky?
I'm hanging in there, man. How's it going tonight?
Shark, I got to tell you, brother, I told him you were working, and he laughed at you.
He told him I was working?
That's something new for you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I try to avoid it at all costs.
And that's what I told him. I said, you're training. You're working with little sharks, trying to grow them into the big shark.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking...
It's a big, rough ocean out there, and we're trying to prepare these guppies for the world of wrestling.
Speaking of little sharks, when's yours coming out of the oven?
God, I wish I knew, man. We're ready.
They come out of the aquarium, Shawn.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Officially, the due date was 2 days ago, so any time now, and we're actually ready to induce. I mean, if it was up to us, we would go ahead and just go in there, but the doctors are saying, no, we don't need to take any unnecessary risks, so we're going to try to wait and let things happen naturally, but we're ready for the little shark to get here.
You know, I know your wife, Sandra. I went to school with her. You are one brave man. I feel sorry for you right now.
Thank you.
Well, Sandra was 7...
I love you, honey, if you're listening.
Yeah, she was 7 months pregnant before she even looked pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. It just kind of, overnight, she woke up one morning and you could tell, you know?
Oh, jeez. Hey, Shark, let's talk about you a little bit. This Saturday, you're going to be down in Middletown Wrestling at the National Guard Armory. Big show down there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm part of 2 out of 3 Fall, the tag team main event. My partner is Aston Augustus Ambrose, Esquire, and we will have Honeysuckle Rose in our corner, and we'll be taking on Chip Fairway and Matt Stryker. They're going to have Helena Heavenly in their corner. So, should be a good one.
And that's all going to be Saturday. Tickets available at the Power Station Gym and at Bumpers NASCAR if you want to go to that show this Saturday in Middletown.
Shark, how we doing? I know you've been working a lot with the trainees down there. How many people we have down at HWA headquarters
tonight? There's at least 20 guys here. I think if everybody were to show up all at once, they'd probably have in excess of 30 trainees down here. So it's going really great. Guys are progressing nicely, you know, and we're just having a lot of fun. And I think we're shaping some future stars. So.
Well, you know, we talked to a lot of people in the business. You were doing a great job when you were with WCW. Then as a contract, Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff and all the changes, you come home and you start seeing more Saturday nights than you did when you were there.
That's right. I actually got a call. I had driven up here to sort of get things settled a week before we moved back up here to Ohio. And while I was home, preparing, you know, for the move, I get a call from Atlanta, and they're saying, we want you to be on the Saturday night taping in 2 weeks. And I'm thinking, wow, this is terrific timing. You know, I just get moved out of Atlanta, and now they want me to come back and work for them. They had me under contract for 6 months. They only used me on 1 television show, and I actually saw a lot more camera time once my contract was expired.
So what's your current status now with WCW? Are they going to use you at all, or?
Well, they got me on the mailing list. They keep sending me the schedule, but unfortunately Shark Boy's not in it. So basically, I'm kind of, you know, waiting for the phone to ring. That's how it happened before. The phone just rang, and I mean, they know who I am. They, you know, like I said, they got me on the mailing list. They have my phone number. You know, I'm going to do my best to show them that I'm still working hard as far as improving myself in the indies. And the rest, I guess, is basically up to them, you know, as far as how much they're going to use me. So,
Shark, one of the things we do know, and this is for a lot of the independent wrestlers that are listening tonight, you know, it's not like you just came home and said, well, hey, I made it. I'm back. I don't have to do anything else or prove anything else. I know that you're working out diligently in the gym lately.
That's true.
And I don't mean just in the gym there practicing on the mat, but I also mean hitting the weights to build your body up.
That's true, yeah.
I know you're looking at, you know, basically making yourself even better than you were.
Yeah, well, you have to. I mean, that's it's no secret. That's the thing that's holding me back more than anything is my size. And when I broke into the business, I only weighed 145 pounds, and I've put on 30 pounds, in the 3 years since I started wrestling. So if I can just continue to go at that rate, let's see, I'll be as big as Marty in no time.
Hey, man, you know what? That was bad, brother. I can't believe you took a shot at me like that.
Oh, come on, Marty.
Oh, that was ugly.
More than Shark Boy.
That's true.
But your size, you're bigger than Rey Mysterio Jr., about the same size as other guys like Dean Malenko height-wise. I mean, the size factor, I think in today's wrestling world isn't as big a deal as it was maybe 15 years ago.
Well, if you can convince the WCW booking committee of that, I would really appreciate it, Shawn.
Well, actually, and I know you don't know this, actually the column on the WrestlingGuys.com, my new column, is actually about you this week.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. So
it's a short column.
Don't believe anything you read, folks.
Hey, when you were first, when WCW first approached you, there was an idea about a Saturday morning show.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well, the way it was explained to me after the fact was they were going to do sort of a Power Rangers type wrestling show geared, strictly at kids. And they went around and grabbed a bunch of guys my size to move to Atlanta, train at the power plant so that they could make sure we were all competent within the ring. And then the way I understood it, the plan was to get us out to L.A. to live for a while. So that would have been terrific. But, of course, that never transpired. We never got past the training at the power plant phase before Mr. Bischoff was reassigned by Turner Sports. And consequently, all the programs he was in charge of were sort of nixed, which that included my program. So that the kids show never happened, but who knows? Maybe if things change again down there, which I'm hearing they are already. So maybe it'll get back in the works. I don't know.
I know that Vince Russo had a meeting down in Atlanta today. Did you hear anything as far as how that was handled?
No, actually, we were so busy around the office today. I haven't had a chance to get out and do any surfing on the net. So I don't know.
Shark, I know you're helping the training. A lot of people don't know you help with a lot of the booking with HWA. You've got a lot of diverse talents that a lot of people don't realize. They see you go in the ring, but they don't realize there's a lot more to Shark Boy than what meets the eye.
Right. Well, I think, to a certain extent, when you look at the personality, the persona that I've developed in the ring, the Shark Boy, you realize, this guy maybe has a little bit of imagination, I would hope anyway, or else this guy's totally nuts. Either way, those are perfect qualifications to be a booker.
And also being nuts helps if you're a wrestler, too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think you've got to be a little bit nuts just to want to get in the business, but, beyond that, I think I love it. I just love wrestling. It's all, I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I have a job now, through the week where I get to come in and all I do is talk wrestling and work with wrestling, and I just love it, man. It's all I've ever wanted to do.
How did you come up with the Shark Boy gimmick?
Okay. It's not an easy question to answer, so bear with me here.
Okay.
Shark Boy initially began as El Piranha.
El Piranha.
I was the Mexican Piranha, It was inspired by the song that I currently come out to the ring to, I Come From the Water. I heard this song on the radio, and at the time,